For reference, we both play. She has cut down a lot more lately. We used to spend a lot of time on it, but have started a gym journey. One of the main issues is she has set a boundary that whenever she is upset, I should not game. I can watch TV, be on my phone, or go for a walk, but the idea of me gaming is a no-go. It has been quite difficult to deal with considering we both work full-time. So weekends are our time to unwind and relax. I enjoy gaming and introduced her to it. When I tell her this, she dismisses it by saying, "It's not that serious, go to the gym, or win in real life instead of in the game." I stopped going out with the guys on weekends for drinks when we were not on good terms, which seemed a reasonable request, but now I am just stuck at home with nothing to do, or at least not able to do what I want, which is gaming. Apparently, my enthusiasm in the game while she is hurt drives her mentally. But sometimes I feel like both of us are wrong in our own ways. Story 1. She has not set a boundary. She is using therapeutic language to justify controlling behavior. A boundary is something she will not do or tolerate. For example, "I will not talk while you are shouting." Controlling behavior is saying, "You are not allowed to when I do not want you to." She will also change the rules once you comply with this behavior. You cannot play games, but you can watch television or use your phone. It is clearly about control, and you must not be happy if she is not. It is not about being productive at all. Story 2. Stop letting this girl control you, brother. By her not letting you go out when you are not feeling well, do you mean you let her punish you during disagreements? Story 3. What does she do in her free time? Watch trash television? Spend all day on TikTok? I would argue those are worse than video games. I say as long as your responsibilities are being taken care of, relax and unwind. Story 4. Don't date people who are offended by your enjoyment. Edit. I am going to leave this up even though you added the flair. Story 5. This is a short life we live. I am a gamer. I also work 45 hours a week and keep all my bills paid. I will never listen to someone trying to tell me how to spend my time or enjoyment. Story 6. If she gets mad at you for gaming, just follow her around and annoy her because you're bored. See what she says then. I was in a toxic relationship where I couldn't go out with friends or game without her consent. It made me sad, angry, depressed, and resentful. If she can't understand your hobby, then you'll need to reach a compromise. Story 7. I don't let my partner dictate what I can or cannot do. You are your own person. If you want to go out or play games, you should be able to as long as you do not neglect your partner. However, for her to control what you are allowed to do because she is upset with you for any reason is unreasonable. She is not your mother who can ground you. She is supposed to be your partner. This would be a very firm boundary for me. Story 8. Having a sensible discussion about gaming time is one thing. Trying to give herself the right to decide at any time to say, "I am upset, you are not allowed to do this hobby," is another. This is her problem, not yours. Whether you are brave enough to tell her that is up to you. Story 9. She sounds way too controlling. If she is in control of you outside work, and work controls your approximately 40 hours a week, when do you get control? At the end of the day, her emotions are her own, and punishing you because she is upset about something is not fair. She either needs to find a better coping mechanism or see a therapist. This type of woman will weaponize her insecurity and always make it your fault somehow. Story 10. You are not allowed to see friends or play games when she is upset. How often is she upset? It sounds like it is happening a lot if you are posting about not being able to game. From a totally assumed positive intent perspective, I would have a serious talk with your partner about why they are upset so often. Adults need to be able to self-regulate. It is okay to be upset when a major event happens, but everyday life should not be causing this. If it is, she needs to talk to her doctor and likely a therapist. From a not assumed positive intent perspective, she is controlling and manipulating you. I'm not sure why. Power dynamic? Can she not go for a walk or to another room while you are gaming if it upsets her? I would not be in a relationship where my partner was telling me when I could or could not do something I enjoyed for an hour or so. Story 11. Stealth Pro Headset by Turtle Beach. Experience high-quality sound with this advanced gaming headset. Designed for comfort and durability, It features immersive audio for an enhanced gaming experience, compatible with multiple platforms, offering clear communication and amplified sound. Ideal for gamers seeking superior audio performance. Story 12. Please remember that a boundary is something you can control for yourself. Like, I do not respond to shouting, but you cannot play games because I am sad is not a boundary. I know you probably do not want to hear this, but she has some major red flags. If her lack of peace means she steals yours, there is a large issue here. She is way too controlling. Story 13. She's just in her, I go to the gym and need to eat, sleep, breathe, and be productive phase. Tell her to calm down or find a new girlfriend. I'd say something like, I'm happy to go on walks, runs, and do whatever outside, even the gym, but I really enjoy gaming. You need to stop attacking it just because you don't find it worthwhile anymore. Then she proceeds to tell her the useless things she does to make a point, like using Facebook or TikTok. It sounds like she really only played to spend time with you and probably never really loved it. Story 14. It's not just the game. It's that you're having fun and enjoying yourself. When she is upset, which I believe happens often, she does not want you to be happy. That is horrible. I would end the relationship. Enjoy time with friends and time playing the game. Life is too short to make yourself miserable because someone else wants you to. Story 15. Only knowing your half of the story. This sounds like a control issue. When you argue or she is upset, you suddenly can no longer see your friends or play video games. Basically, you are not able to do anything that brings you joy or connection. That is a problem. Plus, from your other comments where she is allowed to sit and watch television during those times, it is even more telling. Personally, I would rather be single than deal with this situation. Story 16. From my experience, this is selfish and controlling behavior. She is showing a lack of respect for your autonomy and just wants you to do what she wants you to do. Couple that with her placing her need to avoid boredom on you rather than finding a productive hobby she could pursue. It only gets worse, never better. Story 17. I spent years trying to make this work. You can either spend your life with someone who pulls you away from what you love or find someone who pushes you toward it. The difference is huge. My next girlfriend introduced me to what became some of my favorite games. She was enthusiastic about playing together. When I played games she didn't care about, she did her own thing nearby. Her friends were similar, so we had an easy time all being together. We end up with girls like your girlfriend because we let women be the chooser and believe it is our job to be liked. You can stop this. You can give yourself the power to choose and decide not to suffer through this for years like I did. Story 18. Are you married? If not, leave her. It is not about her preventing you from gaming. She is preventing you from enjoying a hobby and a life outside the home. She wants you to be miserable when she is miserable. That is not healthy and will only drive you insane. Story 19. What does that mean? Win in life instead of the game? Gaming is not about winning. It is about relaxing on your days off because you helped keep the power on, water running, and food in the fridge. That is what winning looks like. You need to ask her what she expects in life, my friend. Do you have upward mobility within your job? Are you trying to get another one? Unless you are jobless or have only been working part-time, I just do not understand this. Story 20. Time to leave. You have a controlling partner who deliberately hurts you. That is not a girlfriend. That is a monster. Choose a better partner next time. Story 21. Enjoying something harmless should not require permission. Like, literally stop guilt-tripping yourself. Say it clearly, I play games to unwind. If you do not respect that, then we have deeper issues than a screen. Story 22. There is so much to unpack, but you are not there to help her manage her emotions. I have been in a relationship exactly like this, and that behavior comes from some trauma, deep insecurity, or something for which she needs therapy. I even made a similar comment about winning in life when I already had a successful career. My current girlfriend has never played video games but loves the story-driven ones or will join me on the simple ones. If she is not interested, she goes and does something else. If she is really feeling terrible about something, she will tell me, and I will spend time with her and help her feel better. Once she is fine, she goes and does her own thing. Story 23. You are in a manipulative and controlling relationship. It will escalate until you do what she wants, how she wants it, all of the time. Do what you will with that information. Story 24. You are being domestically abused. Look into it, explain it to her, and tell her she needs to check her behavior. It may seem minor now, but it will not be later on. Story 25. Remember that we only have your description of this situation, so if you did not explain it properly, the opinions here may be inaccurate. Some people make these posts just to get validation and do not actually want to hear the truth. Her being in a bad mood and wanting to bring you down as if you did not deserve to be happy when she is not is a red flag, but it really depends on the context. Have you made any effort to help her with the bad mood? Do you play for many hours at a time, leaving her alone while she might want company? Have you skipped the day's gym to play games? It sounds like she enjoyed gaming but wants to stop, and hearing you have so much fun annoys her since she would kind of like to do the same but does not at the same time. Or perhaps she feels like it takes you away from her and does not know how to say that she wants to spend more time with you. To be honest, there are many reasons, and nobody can say for certain if one of you is more to blame. Story 26. If it affects your ability to conduct your life in a healthy way, it may be time to look at how much time you are spending gaming. Be honest with yourself, especially with the first part. Would you benefit from gaming less, even just a few hours less per week? So, how could you better utilize that time? If not, why could nothing else fill the role that gaming has in your life? Answer only for yourself. If you find that gaming does not impact your life in a negative way, you need to talk to your partner about how important this is to you in your daily life. The important thing is to communicate effectively, which includes being considerate of how you say things to her. She likely does not share the same personal connection you have with gaming. It might help if she is willing to try in some way with you. Maybe it would require a simple trade-off. You game with me for an hour, and tomorrow we visit that new pop-up art gallery. After all, if gaming is truly important to you, it is also something you would hope your partner is willing to at least put up with. It seems clear she has a fundamental misunderstanding of how and why you game, and she might not be open to actually trying. More than likely, it has to do with third-party pressure, friends, family, acquaintances, social media, that has led her to believe that being on your phone would somehow be more acceptable than you gaming. In summary, talk it out or don't. I am not a cop. Story 27. So you have a partner who is dismissive of a hobby you both shared, suddenly increases gym activity, and emotionally manipulates you to stay home when she is upset. This does not sound good. Story 28. What the heck? Where has all the self-respect gone? She won't allow you to play games while she is upset? What does she think you will do? Rush over to her like Prince Charming and solve all of her problems? I do not mean to be so blunt, but I see many posts about people dating others who clearly do not like them, and I am really wondering what is going on. Story 29. I left the relationship yesterday. I have already been through this once. I am not doing it again. That is controlling and childish. Story 30. Are you arguing without resolving anything and then jumping straight into your games, laughing and having a good time with your friends? So I can see why she would be upset. Are you avoiding resolving issues with her by gaming instead? Again, I can see why that might not sit well with her. It sounds like much of the behavior you are describing from her is more on the controlling side, which is something you need to monitor and set your own boundaries around. Story 31. Your partner is selfish and manipulative. I would have ended it a long time ago. My peace is not worth sacrificing for anyone. Story 32. I consider if I game too much and try to adapt if I am able to see her point. Firstly, I need to make sure the day's chores are done. I will not leave that burden on her. If it's been a while since we talked and hung out, then maybe I will play later. If she is down for some reason, maybe I do not need to sit around and waste time. But if I have been good, chores are done, dogs are at rest, and she is on a lively, hour-long phone call with her friends, she does not care what I do. So I can game. Our relationship is not just hers and mine. It is ours. We are one couple. We both take responsibility for its health. Story 33. I would not deal with it. If my partner is going to complain about my hobbies, then they will not be my partner anymore. I have ended 2 long-term relationships because of this kind of manipulation and am much better off today. Story 34. Drop her. Sure, you're supposed to give up some things for your partner, but not your mental health. Always protect your own mental health. Story 35. One of the main issues is she has set a goal boundary that whenever she is upset, you should not play games. That is not how boundaries work. A boundary is set for yourself, not for others. This is controlling behavior disguised as a boundary, especially considering she has also made you stop going out with your friends. I am not one to say, break up, your partner is controlling immediately, as that can be a hasty judgment. However, her behavior is controlling and you should be aware of it. Her comments about your gaming hobby are belittling. Imagine telling someone they should not go rock climbing because they should be excelling in real life instead. You are allowed to have hobbies. Story 36. She sounds like a child who needs attention all the time. That would be an absolute no for me. You are not responsible for her feelings. She is a grown adult. Do not let her treat you this way. She knows it works and you will be more miserable. Story 37. Does she understand what a boundary actually is? That is just, if I am miserable, you should be miserable too. Story 38. Tell her to go away. If you are managing to handle all your responsibilities and health, you are entitled to relax a little bit. Story 39. That is a form of subconscious control. The fact that she is able to control something about you makes her feel more empowered. Story 40. It's a hobby you enjoy. As long as you are not neglecting life, it is entirely up to you how you spend your time. Playing devil's advocate, maybe she wants you to spend more time with her. However, she has to communicate like an adult and not use shame. I would explain how important my free time is and ask her to respect it, emphasizing how important and fun it is. If not, it is time for a serious discussion. Story 41. Never be with a woman who makes you responsible for her being upset. It is not about playing games. It is about her trying to make you accountable for her bad behavior and attitude. Story 42. Take up a hobby that keeps you out of the house and away from her for hours every day. Mine was suddenly much happier with me gaming at home. Story 43. Tell her when you are upset she cannot go to the gym, because that is how much sense this makes. Ludicrous. How is watching television or being on your phone any different? Story 44. This is literally her telling you that she does not want you to be happy anytime she is not happy. I expect that she would not be okay with you imposing similar rules on her when you are not happy. Story 45. No children? Bills paid? Sounds like you are a grown adult and can do what you want. She knows where the door is. Story 46. She has set a boundary that whenever she is upset, I should not play video games. I can watch television, use my phone, or go for a walk. But gaming is not allowed. That is not a boundary. It is a rule that is not appropriate for a parent or a spouse to set. She is upset, whatever that means, and therefore my choice of entertainment is limited. That is unreasonable. Story 47. So whenever she is miserable, she demands that you are miserable with her. Yes, that is serious nonsense. Her lack of emotional maturity is not your problem. She is acting like a child because the whole "if I cannot have fun, no one can" mentality is something 5-year-olds do. Story 48. Take it from someone who gave up a hobby to appease his girlfriend. It only hurts you more than it benefits the relationship. Story 49. I would not tolerate such comments from her. If she feels she cannot respect my gaming, then there is no future for us. Both of us would feel disrespected. Story 50. It sounds like she is trying to make you as miserable as she is so she does not feel worse about herself, at least in this current situation. From experience, these kinds of situations do not usually resolve themselves. They often get worse. I would suggest talking to her, and if she refuses to acknowledge that she is wrong in any way for setting so many boundaries on you just because she is upset, then it might be time to start thinking more about what you want for your future. Story 51. Man, reverse the genders here. He is isolating you from your friends. You cannot see your friends when he is mad. He tells you that you are not allowed to do your favorite hobbies when he is mad. Like he cannot get noise-canceling headphones. What other obvious signs of abuse is he displaying? How would he react if you tried to do any of this to him? I urge you to educate yourself on how abusive behaviors start and escalate in relationships. You are in a potentially dangerous one right now. You both need help. However, getting that help together does not seem healthy for either of you. Story 52. How often are you two not getting along to the point that this happens so frequently it warrants making this post? Story 53. It seems like this is an issue only when she is upset. But the question is, how often is she upset for this to become a recurring problem you are dealing with? Without knowing anything about you two, your relationship reminds me of my own with an ex years ago. We were deeply and fundamentally incompatible, so we harbored resentment toward each other and found reasons to be annoyed by what the other person was doing. If this is the case for you, let me tell you, it will not get any better. Story 54. If she is upset, you cannot go out with your friends or play games. That is strange. What is the threshold for this? For example, if she is just having a rough day, do you need to have a rough day too? Or if she is upset at you? Either way, it sounds borderline abusive and controlling. Story 55. Balance. You are both showing signs of not prioritizing each other properly. I play games at night for 1 to 2 hours when she is asleep. I use that time to shut myself off because my brain needs it to stay hyperfunctional. The brain is like a muscle. You can lose it or abuse it, which is not beneficial. Physical activity is always a good idea. I jump rope. Story 56. One of the main issues is she has set a boundary that whenever she is upset. Others have already pointed out this is not a boundary but controlling behavior. Going a step further, how are you meant to know she is upset? Maybe there are some obvious signs in some cases, but generally she can use this as an excuse to stop you from gaming whenever she wishes based on her arbitrarily deciding she is upset. This is manipulation as well as controlling behavior, as it is designed to make you scared to even start playing a game without first getting permission to ensure she is not upset. Story 57. Introduce her to a game like Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing. I am sure she will find it therapeutic. If she is brave enough, you can introduce her to Factorio if she wants a mental workout. Story 58. I would like to cautiously add that some women do this in hopes of the man standing up to her. Take care of yourself first. Do what you want as long as you do not hurt anyone. A relationship should add to your life, not subtract from it. Story 59. A boundary is something she does or does not do or want done to her. It is not a controlling mechanism that prevents you from doing a certain activity. She is using psychological terms to try to manipulate you. She seems to be upset a lot, but you gaming upset her. Is that maybe because there is something you are not doing? Most likely not comforting her or giving her attention. She does not seem to mind you doing other things, which is an unusual sign. I would not give up my hobbies in a relationship unless there was a good rational reason, such as financial concerns or needing time for children. I think there is something deeper here that your girlfriend is not expressing, and you are gaming, so you are not really focused on communicating. Try to figure out what it is. Story 60. Boredom is a major driver that motivates you to accomplish tasks. If you spend that energy on gaming, there are other areas you lose focus on. For that reason, many women understandably dislike seeing their partners deeply engaged in gaming. Either you change or find someone who is okay with it. Story 61. Sounds like a person with borderline personality disorder. Go gaming anyway. This is a slippery slope of control. Every time you comply, she will move the goalpost and make it something else. She already isolated you from your friends and now is taking your games away. She is trying to make you as miserable as she is. Tell her to ignore you when she is on Instagram or TikTok. Story 62. Whenever she is upset, you should not do something that you enjoy. I thought about asking what she does not get to do when you are upset, but that is just ridiculous. Find someone who likes the things you do and is emotionally mature enough to treat your relationship as a partnership, not as a situation where you can tell the other person what to do. There are plenty of men out there who do not play games, so she should be able to find one who is to her liking. Story 63. Either end the relationship or tell her she is not allowed to pursue her hobbies and see how she responds. At that point, you might as well end the relationship. Story 64. This situation is very toxic. It is the same in relationships where one partner limits how the other spends their own money. It is surprising how people continue in situations like that. Story 65. You need to date people who align with your lifestyle. You have two choices. 1. Break up and hopefully find someone who aligns with you. Continue to date her and she will end up resenting your gaming, or you will have to stop your favorite hobby. Her feelings about your gaming and being a loser instead of a winner in life will never change. Story 66. I agree with everyone else. She is not raising you up. She is pulling you down like an anchor. Do not let her hold you back from having a good time. I had a girl try to tell me reading books was a better use of my time than games. I ended it less than a week later. Story 67. Does she give up anything when you are grumpy or grouchy? TikTok? Social media? Clubbing? Drinking at home or edibles? This sounds like she is just being controlling, craving to be the center of attention, and trying to mold you into what she wants with little thought about what you care about, which sounds a bit toxic. I would put my foot down but be ready for a rough ride that could end with separation. Some people do not take kindly to the idea of give and take or compromise. Story 68. Your girlfriend is on a journey of self-improvement and wants you to join her. If you do not, it is likely she will break up with you or she will fail and you will have to deal with emotional depression. Basically, reading between the lines, she wants you to mature and is challenging your gaming habit. However, it does not actually have anything to do with gaming, and her approach is immature. Going to the gym regularly is a good idea, and it can be a journey the two of you embark on together. Pick an upper body/lower body split program, 1 hour a day, 6 days a week. Tell her you will join her at the gym from now on. However, explain that you use gaming for stress relief, so you will game 2 hours a day on a set schedule. Present this plan and communicate a solution. She does not get to tell you what to do, but that does not mean she does not have a point either. Story 69. Maybe try having a calm conversation with your partner about compromise and finding alternative relaxation methods that work for both of you. Story 70. Grow up and cut back on gaming as well. She is growing out of it, and if you want to stay together, do so with her. If you do not like that answer, then leave or let her leave. Your life together cannot always be about gaming. Story 71. So it is not a matter of you spending too much time on it and neglecting the relationship. Her reason is actually that seeing you happy makes her mad. Story 72. I stopped going out with the guys on the weekends for drinks when we aren't good. Apparently, my cheerfulness during the game while she is hurt drives her crazy. This could either be reasonable or unreasonable. There is not enough information to decide. Think about it from the other side. When you are going through something difficult with someone and they receive a phone call in the middle of it, and suddenly their whole tone changes when talking to someone else, does that not also drive you nuts? It feels disrespectful and like they are insincere or two-faced. Story 73. Realistically, she needs to learn to handle her own emotions. It seems that she may not have had to do this while growing up, so she has not developed those skills. It's good that you are both doing physical activity. Exercise is always beneficial. However, it appears there is some underlying insecurity on her part that she needs to work through. The use of certain phrases is inherently manipulative, whether intentional or not, so do not fall for them. When she is experiencing negative emotions, do you feel you are providing enough comfort, or are you avoiding the situation? Story 74. She is imposing rules that cannot benefit both of you. It is like she is saying, if I am hurting, everyone should be hurting too. That is a bad mindset. Talk to her about her controlling mindset. Story 75. Personally, as long as somebody is showing up, taking care of their health and fitness, maintaining a clean house, and providing emotional and hopefully financial support, they can do whatever they want in their free time. If they are gaining weight, making poor food choices, sitting in a dirty room, and gaming seems to be part of that lifestyle and cycle, then the whole package becomes immensely unattractive to me. Story 76. Just because she is in a bad mood does not mean she gets to dictate what you do. It is understandable if you are gaming nonstop and not contributing to managing the house or ignoring her, but gaming occasionally should not be an issue. If you are with something that does not let you enjoy your pastimes, then it probably is not for you. Otherwise, you will just end up having to hide a part of yourself. Story 77. Just do not date such people. My ex used to make jokes that adult women should not play games. I felt belittled, upset, and misunderstood. My current partner, who is not a gamer, listens to me rambling about the latest playthrough and watches me while I am playing. He said he enjoys it. This is how you unwind, and this is your hobby. Also, it angers me for you. Mindless scrolling on the phone or watching something on television is supposed to be better than gaming when your brain is actively engaged. It is a joke. Go get yourself a partner who loves you for who you are and supports you. Do not settle for this. Story 78. How do you deal with them? Walk away. It is controlling. It is a rejection of something you love, therefore a rejection of you. As we all know, if someone rejects a part of you, they are unlikely to respect it. They will degrade and speak negatively about it. Walk, brother. Walk. Story 79. She is not your source of entertainment. She needs friends and her own social circle so you can be your own people. Crazy idea, but I would never let someone tell me that I cannot do my hobbies because they have nothing else to do but drain my energy. Story 80. The minute someone I am dating gets upset by something I enjoy doing, we have a talk about this being my hobby and how I spend my free time. As long as it is not taking time away from us, her being upset is definitely an issue. In your case, it is strange because you could be doing other things that do not involve her, but as soon as you game, she becomes upset. I am at an age where I do what I want. If I were in your situation, I would end things if the upset behavior persisted. It is controlling and manipulative behavior. Story 81. Typically, people who attack your hobbies do so because you are not giving them attention or they cannot impress their friends. These people are toxic and emotionally abusive. I bet if you changed your hobbies to something more impressive, they would still be upset that you are not spending time with them. If they seemed fine, they would eventually criticize you for not making enough progress or not having enough to show off to their friends. Story 82. She seems controlling, but I do not blame her for wanting a man who has goals outside of gaming. That being said, she must have known about the gaming before you became serious together. So she is trying to change you, which really is not fair unless you want to. Story 83. Warning. Do not let her manipulate you. The situation will only worsen over time until she matures. Stay away from toxic people. Story 84. Boundaries are things we do for ourselves, not things we use to control others. Boundary. If you start yelling at me, I will walk away. Not a boundary. If I am unhappy, you must also be unhappy. Story 85. As someone who dated and even married someone like this, I can tell you that this is a dead-end relationship, if you can even call it that. This is purely based on the context given by yourself, of course. She needs to learn to handle and control her own emotions and not hold other people accountable for how she is feeling. You can be supportive and still enjoy the things you like to do without walking on eggshells. This seems like manipulative behavior, and it will only get worse the longer you stay in a situation like this. You shouldn't have to compromise your own peace and enjoyment just because your partner is feeling down. I dislike the trend of immediately advising someone to leave a relationship, but in this case, based on the information provided, you are just not a match and she needs help and counseling to manage her own issues. I have been divorced for 5 years now and never felt better. I wish you wisdom and peace, my friend. May you walk on warm sands. Story 86. Scrolling the phone is acceptable, but gaming is not? Why is she so hostile towards gaming in particular? Explain to her that gaming is your hobby, and she has no right to control your interests as long as you are not neglecting her. If she cannot accept that, find someone who can. Story 87. What kinds of things is she upset about? If she is upset with you, then the two of you need to talk about it and find a solution. If she is upset about something external and wants to move on, then she should not bring you down with her. You are her emotional support and should help give her perspective. Listen to her complaints, validate her feelings, and let her move on to the problem-solving phase. Women need us to listen, not to solve the problem for them unless they ask for advice or opinions. Story 88. Look, I'm gonna say something that might get downvoted, but you made a comment mentioning, she said, you should be able to go 24 hours without gaming. This tells me you do this every day, not just on weekends. I agree you should be able to use your free time as you please, but every day for the whole night is not healthy for a relationship. I play my game every day, complete my daily missions, and then spend the rest of the time with her. We both agreed that this is something we can support. On the weekend, I play a bit more. Should she also find hobbies? Absolutely. Many women have a problem with this. They rely on their significant other to entertain them instead of having their own hobbies, and then get upset when the other person spends time doing things they enjoy. Just don't spend every day gaming. If she leaves, will you regret spending so much time gaming? If the answer is no, continue. Story 89. It's tricky. On one hand, your partner should understand that this is your hobby and you get joy from it. A good partner would want you to be happy and to have fun. On the other hand, gaming is not like other hobbies. People often compare it to doom scrolling or binge watching television, which are generally negative activities, but from the perspective of a non-gamer, it's much worse. If you don't know anything about the game, it can be very confusing trying to figure out what you are looking at. And if it's an online game, you can't even pause it to answer a question or talk with someone. It's like being stuck watching the same short video for hours at a time. People also underestimate how much time they spend on gaming. 1 hour is nothing. In some games, it's 1 or 2 matches. Gaming for hours makes sense to gamers, but to an outside person, it is difficult to understand why you spend so much time doing it. It's not particularly impressive. You don't learn anything new or practice any skills, and most times you are not even progressing. I can definitely see how you would think it is a waste of time. Story 90. You tell her to kick rocks or deal with it. Realistically, as long as you are being a good partner and she is using this as some sort of punishment purely out of spite, you need to have a sit-down conversation to get to the root of the issue. If she is doing it to simply hit a pain point and does not change, it is time to walk. Story 91. This is a really tough one. I go back and forth. I completely understand women from an evolutionary standpoint being like, what is this man doing mashing buttons on an imaginary child's toy all day? But also, it's your life. At the end of the day, you have to choose what you want more. Try to negotiate times when you can play games. I don't really have an answer for you. If you aren't independently wealthy like LeBron James, most women are going to wonder why you are wasting time on a toy. This is how they are wired, for the most part. And if we are being totally honest, the game is simply hijacking our sensory reward center as if we were out fishing or setting traps for food. So the only answer is to keep that perspective and try to negotiate reasonable periods of time to play games. If anyone has any pointers on how to negotiate 3 to 6 hours of game time with a significant other who doesn't game, I'm all ears. The best I've ever negotiated is 1 to 2 hours at a time. Story 92. I know that's not what you want to hear, but someone on a fitness journey or a gym person generally is not compatible with someone who is not. She is not upset that you play games. She is upset that you are not going to the gym and doing fitness activities like her. If you were going to the gym, working hard, and getting fit, I promise you she would not be angry. It is just that it is not very respectful to tell someone they are fat and out of shape, and it makes me angry. Story 93. Your main priority is gaming, not a partner or a healthy lifestyle. Maybe your girlfriend is upset because you are okay with this and she is not. Story 94. My wife does not like when I drink. She drinks too at birthday parties and on Christmas. But she gets mad when I drink as soon as I get home from work every night and all day every day on weekends. I think she is a hypocrite. Story 95. What are her love languages? She may just want you to go to the gym with her and support her on her journey. If you do, she will probably ease up on your gaming habits. Story 96. I don't mean this rudely, but find a game she would enjoy. If she is feeling down, I recommend Animal Crossing or Stardew Valley. Story 97. I'm going to go against the consensus and say that if you value this relationship, you should consider abstaining from gaming for a bit. Even just a break for your own sake can help you reestablish a baseline for what you enjoy in gaming. Taking a break from even things we love is good to do every once in a while. It will help you out and also let her know that you value her. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.